married. Oh, well, we're in a stable relationship. Yes, boyfriend and girlfriend.
And you're an engaged couple?
We're together.
We're together.
Yeah, that's how it feels.
Yes. Question mark.
What? Not engaged.
Okay.
Not engaged yet.
We're married, and we got married in my 3rd year of medical school.
We've been dating since August 30th of 2015, so it's going to be 2 years this year, and we've been engaged since May 12 of this year.
And you met in med school?
Yes, we met in med school. I was just finishing up my 2nd year.
Been dating about 4.5 years total. Well, if you include marriage.
Well, I think, is it? Because I fear of med school were you? So that was probably halfway through 1st year of med school. That's when that happened. It's like winter break.
And you're starting residency next week.
Yeah, so we're starting residency next week. So about 3
4
years.
years?
3?
3.5?
3. 3. So we started dating while I was applying to go to med school. And then I remember we were together, like we were already dating when I got accepted.
How long have you been dating?
A year?
Almost a year now. It'll be a year. Well,
It's a year because our first date was like May last year.
it's like May 22nd.
You remember the date?
Yeah, and then
I don't remember the date.
I guess we officially started the relationship on June 17th. So we're almost a year.
So you met 3rd year of med
Towards
school,
the end of 3rd year. Yeah.
and then now it's your 4th year and graduating.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So since the last time we spoke, this happened.
We are so happy. You guys are so amazing together.
Tell them.
We got engaged.
When did you think about proposing?
When did I think about proposing? Like September.
What?
Yeah.
September? And how long have you guys known each other? In September?
Like
It was like 3 months.
3 months, 4 months?
4 months. No. Yeah.
Oh, so cute. So how did you guys first meet?
We met on Coffee Meets Bagel, which is a
dating app that Jenny told me about.
Yep.
She was like, oh, you should do it. And I was like, oh, no, I'm gonna wait until after I match so I know where I'm going, blah, 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 blah. And then I heard that our other friend did it, and then she met someone that was really nice, and I was like, oh, maybe there's not crazy people on it. Okay, I'll join it. But it's because of Jenny.
Should I tell the first one or second one? The real story is
We met in Las Vegas.
We met in Vegas.
well, we actually knew each other from college days, but when we first started dating or talking, it was actually at the club.
How you guys first met?
Ryan, you do such a good job telling the story.
Well, you two set us up. Did such a fine job. 4th of July. You guys lied to both of us. You told me that Alexa wanted to see me when she didn't want to see me at all. So.
Yeah, we met in Vegas. I was on a girls' trip, and I was tricked into the fact that he was just really talkative, and now like he's just really quiet because he had liquid confidence at the time.
Yeah, that helps.
But the story that we tell my relatives, or the PG stories, that we met through a mutual friend in San Diego at his dad's birthday dinner party thing, and that I really liked him because it was a family style dinner and he scooped food from the plate onto my plate for me. Yeah, I remember one of my friends saying, Jenny, that's all it took? Really?
Not great.
Did we say that?
Yeah, you did.
I think Alexa wanted to see you.
No, she did not. She
I
didn't
ended
know.
up staying in Ryan's room for the night, and he slept on the couch the whole night while I took the king size bed to myself. And his feet were hanging off the bed the whole time. But he was nice enough to offer it.
We met at the club, and then we danced together for a little bit, and then when we left, he got my number,
and then that's how things started.
What How'd I get your number?
He got my number because I was sitting in the parking lot with my friends. We were debating where to go eat. Then he came up to my window and tried to ask for my number. But then my friend was like, "You're drunk, go home." And then James was like, "What if I dance for you?" And then we're like, "Okay." So then he went to the front of our car and he like break danced. And then I was like, "All right.
Show us your dance."
Fuck that. That's love.
And then that's how I got my number.
So when you first met him, did you think he was crazy?
No, I thought he was cute.
And then she found out I was crazy.
Yeah, very crazy.
What's the hardest part about dating someone in med school?
Dating somebody in med school, I think the biggest thing was just the whole transition of her leaving to med school and having to move, 2 states away, and then eventually me having to move here as well. But that all comes long distance relationship.
I think the hardest part is trying to help manage stress that kind of comes from med school things like exams and kind of stressful rotations and things like that. I mean, it's not so bad. I mean,
I would say we probably don't see each other as often. It's probably really rough, but for me, myself, I feel like it works out pretty good because I'm pretty isolated myself.
I don't know what she's talking about half the time. She's going on about what she did in class or things that she's learning about, so I always ask what things mean.
What's the hardest part about dating someone not in medicine?
I think the only difficulty is just sometimes it's really hard to explain to someone, like the whole process, like, oh, I gotta study, or, boards, or this is what residency interviews are like. But besides that, I think if you're with someone who is patient enough to kind of know and understand, it's not really that hard.
Because with certain things I feel like he doesn't understand. Because it's hard to explain the stress that you're under or things that you're going through to someone that doesn't experience it themselves. But the same can be said about him and his work too. So it's kind of like trying to understand and listen to each other about what we're worried about, because it's like from an outsider's perspective, it's very different than when you're actually in it. I think that's the hardest part. But other than that, it's fine.
I guess it's hard because a lot of my passion is in medicine, and we share a lot of other passions like traveling, our love for Wyatt, our love for food, and our love for adventure. But one of the things that I can't share in depth with is just the passion for medicine and how exciting that is, and how exciting that is for me. He can sit there and listen. Oh, it's okay, baby. But it's not the same excitement, if that makes sense. Like, we both don't enjoy it as much as like it's one-sided enjoyment.
I guess same thing, like I can't just say random stuff and expect him to know what it means. I have to explain it to him. And also, because we were long distance for 2 years, I think that was the hard part. Just not being able to see each other often and having to communicate through the phone all the time.
With this busy med school schedule, how often do you guys talk to each other?
Well, like every day.
every day,
Because like
How
okay.
much? How much every day?
all the time, every day, it feels like.
Yeah, he texts me a lot. Well, it's also because like 4th year is not a very busy. It's kind of busy when you're traveling. Like earlier in the year, it's like kind of busier, but like now it's not that hard. It's gonna be hard when I start residency though, because we're gonna be like 2.5 or 3 hours apart. So that's gonna be hard.
I think it changed during first year. I was in Yakima and he was in Seattle, so that's like 2.5 hours away. So we saw each other like once a month during first and second year. And then 3rd year, I got to move back, but because with rotations, it was like about once a month too. But 4th year was more often, I would say.
Well, now we live with each other, so.
So I assume. So when you guys are long distance, how often would you talk?
Every day.
Pretty often.
Yeah, pretty often. We either texted or talked. And then we saw each other pretty often, probably like once every 2 to 3, 4 weeks.
So during med school, I lived in California, she lived here in Washington. We would talk, we would text daily, of course, but we would talk on the phone maybe, 3-4 times a week?
I don't think so.
And, well, we would try to FaceTime.
We
more often
never
than not,
FaceTime.
but I'm not a talkative person, so.
We
So, yeah.
never FaceTime or talk on the phone. I think we talked on the phone like once a week, if that, and we texted a lot.
I would say for me, like I like that solo time by myself, but there was a period of time when we were seeing each other like once a week, and I was like, oh, it was like too much.
We would try and FaceTime though. Yeah, I mean, it helped
I
when we
don't think-
FaceTime, but we just didn't do it a lot enough.
I think we FaceTime like, okay, realistically, we would FaceTime like once a month.
Once a month?
Yeah,
Wow. I don't know about that.
twice a month. Twice a month. And then we would call each other like twice a week, once or twice a week, and then we text daily. Sounds about right?
Yeah, sounds about right.
And then he would come visit every 4 to 6 weeks because we would have block exams. And so every time after a block exam, he would come visit.
Or you would come.
Or else I would go
Yeah.
back.
Well, in the beginning, when we were first dating, we were texting a lot because I was living like an hour away from where he was. I guess like we still like talked like every day. Like he would text me all the time or something like that, and I was like, wow, he's so responsive.
We have a cactus relationship. So we don't see each other that often, but when we did, it's like putting all your resources into that one time, and you utilize it and you make the most of it. It's like a cactus; you don't water it all the time,
But it thrives.
but it thrives.
We'll probably, talk on the phone every day just to kind of have that vocal contact, if you will. But it'll, be texting and calls, I guess. And then,
We'll see.
and then we're hoping to visit each other once a month. So that'll be kind of help out.
What do you argue about the most?
Food.
Food, yeah. Because Ryan always eats all my leftovers.
Yeah.
There's nothing ever left for me.
Even the carbs?
No.
Not carbs, yeah, but you know.
His driving?
And her driving.
I'm a better driver than you.
See, here we go.
I suck at driving, and he never lets me drive.
He wants camera time.
He loves the camera. Look. Yeah, so we probably argue about like little things, like breast milk. How often he should feed him, or like.
So
Dude, I am totally a better driver.
we
than
argue
him.
about who's the better driver, whether we're going the right way, whether we're driving correctly.
He has really bad road rage.
Oh, okay. You have bad road.
Mine is not as bad as yours.
For me, like if I get frustrated, then I just kind of like ignore it. But the two biggest things would be like I don't like the way she drives.
Hi, say hi.
It depends, like when I'm hungry. Then I just get annoyed about like everything. So I get hungry.
When we weren't married yet and we were still in med school, I think we fought a lot about my in-laws and like expectations of what their expectations were for us, not necessarily what we wanted for each other,
No. I'm not a morning person.
Oh yeah, it's the worst when he just wakes up because he's so
Just woke
cranky.
up 10 minutes ago.
He's not a morning person, and I am. I wake up all jolly, and
She's a
he
freak
can't
of
handle
nature.
it.
She wakes up excited for everything.
Oh yeah.
The biggest thing you fight about is just me not communicating myself, and I don't know, I'm just not very talkative, so, and she's kind of the opposite. I mean, she's not really talkative, but obviously she likes this YouTube channel, so she likes to vlog herself. Kind of the opposite, but I try and support her as much as I can.
All the time. She's happy 24/7. It drives me insane, but it's fine.
Well, I think recently it's just been really hard because we've transitioned from long distance into living together as a family and having a baby together. So imagine moving to like 1,000 miles away from your home, from no one you know, and starting a family, and then I'm starting residency. So all of that just compounded into one has been really difficult.
Do you have any advice for people who are hoping to be in a relationship in med school or in medicine?
Yeah, think communication is the obvious answer. That's what everybody's gonna say.
I'd say just open communication is best.
I think having good communication is important.
I think like good communication is key.
But yeah, my advice is just, I mean, if you're dating somebody that's in medicine, just be patient, you know, and supportive. Because obviously they're gonna stress out a lot, and you have to be there for them, and just, you know, do your best to be their rock. We were talking about earlier, one of the biggest things was the book that my wife purchased called 5 Languages of Love. And,
I think it's 5 Love Languages.
Oh, 5 Love Languages. Yeah, 5 Love Languages, the book. It just helped us and reassured us that our relationship was fine. You know, long distance, and you actually doubt yourself a lot. You know, you doubt your partner's love and, you know, just the way they show it. And we actually realized we reciprocate love differently, you know, and the book actually helped us a lot with that. It made us accept it more and made us appreciate each other more.
Having good communication is important, especially, you know, because sometimes you can get really stressed out and overwhelmed with stuff in school, and you know, you don't want to take it out on your partner. So you want to make sure you have good communication, let them know what's going on with your life so that they're aware.
You know, just telling each other what your expectations are. Kind of like when we first started dating, I'm like, hey, I'm in med school, so I'm not going to text you every day, I'm not going to call you every day, like at most, you know, we'll see each other once a month, blah, blah. And of course he was like, oh, okay, yeah, that's fine with me. But if you don't kind of state that at the beginning, or if you're not very open about it, I think that could lead to a lot of, you know, fights. But as long as you're honest and open, I don't think there's any problem with starting a relationship with someone in med school.
Yes, I agree. Maybe setting like what you expect, you know.
Oh,
Both
yeah.
parties know what to expect from one another. So just saying what you want from the get-go.
Yeah, I would agree. Like for me, I'm really not into clingy relationships. So it worked out really well for me for that reason specifically.
I think like good communication is key, and having a kind of like sense of humor, and also like separate times for like plan things out together, because it's hard to find time like that. So it's just like you always have to like plan. As long as you have that, then you're okay, I think. I don't know.
Yeah,
What do you
I think that's a good answer.
Okay.
Well, not my advice. I think I asked someone this too, like what is their advice for a successful relationship, and they said try not to just coexist, because that's easy. You know, when you live together, it's easy just to go through your normal daily routine. It's harder to actually sit down and have quality time together.
Everyone needs a cactus relationship.
It just works out because like when you get
Water
into a
it once a month
relationship,
and it's fine.
sometimes you
Throw it in the corner, ignore it, then you're good.
You just feel like, oh shit, like you need to be around that person all the time. But for us, I feel like we understood that there was a set schedule, and if it worked out, then it worked out, and if it didn't, then it didn't. But when it did, then it was like the best thing ever.
What advice do you have? How to be so cute? Here, advice. What advice do you have? That's it? Okay. Say bye. Say bye.
Bye.
Bye. Thanks for watching. See you next time.